Today we're going to talk about a tool where I'm going to claim that gross margin is equal to intellectual value. Let me explain. I posit that gross margin is your customer's verdict of the intellectual value you provide in your goods or services. First, let's understand what gross margin is. I hope all of you, whether you are manufacturing or a service organization, I hope you compute your gross margin. It is an extremely important metric of your operating performance. Gross profit, as you all well know, is the difference between revenue and COGS, cost of goods sold. So, revenue minus COGS is gross profit, and gross profit as a percentage of revenue is gross margin. Pretty simple to understand. But why is it that important? First of all, I'm going to tell you how gross profit is made up of, and then tell you how difficult it is to improve gross margin. Gross profit is made up of three kinds of value. You offer three kinds of value to your customers. Whether you provide a product or a service, your customers receive from you three kinds of value. The first kind of value is called capital value. You buy stuff. You buy stuff to make or deliver whatever it is you provide. And you expect that your customers will pay you for the stuff you bought. That is called capital value. Then you do stuff. You make things. You provide a service. It's the labor value. You expect customers will pay you for the cost of labor. You buy stuff, capital value. You do stuff, labor value. All of the cost of the capital and labor is completely accounted for in COGS, in the cost of goods sold. There's a third value you provide your customers. You think up of stuff. Think up of what to make, how to make it, where to buy the stuff you need to buy, who to buy it from, how to put it all together, how to present it to you, the customer. All of this think up of stuff, when did you get paid for that? It is not in cost of goods sold. So, the difference between revenue and cost of goods sold, namely gross profit, that must represent the value your customer associates with that intellectual value you provided, the thought up of stuff. The capital value and the labor value is accounted for in COGS. Gross profit communicates the intellectual value you provide your customers. Let me give you a very simplistic example. Let us say I decide to start a business of grocery shopping for people. You know, I find that there is a market. There are people who don't like to go grocery shopping, and I'm going to hire some high school kids who've got cars. I'm going to front them some money, get your grocery shopping list. I'm going to front them some money. They're going to go to the grocery store, buy the stuff, drop it off at your front door. That's the business. Now, I would expect you to pay me the cost of the groceries, of course, the cost that I would incur in paying the high school kids some meager amount, and a little bit more for my profit. The intellectual value I offer is so little that the extra amount I can charge is probably very little. But now, should I ensure that the kids I hire, their background checks have been completed, they are very respectable, law-abiding teenagers, and I've got them bonded. Now I say to you, say, if you would like, they will bring the groceries into your house, stock your shelves in the pantry and the refrigerator of the groceries, so you don't have to do it. Now you'll give me not only the cost of the capital and the labor, but a little more value for the intellectual value I've contributed. Now, should I go further and create an app on your phone where your grocery list is already populated and all you have to do is to check and uncheck some boxes? Now, you'd give me even more value for the intellectual value. Notice that to grow gross margin, I added more and more intellectual value. Improving gross margin is one of the most difficult things in a business. There are many CEOs that come into a company and they cut expenses. Cutting operating expenses is easy. Anybody can do that. You know, we don't need 3 accountants. Let's do it with 2 accountants. That's an easy thing to do. Improving gross margin, now that's a difficult thing to do. You see, there are only 2 ways to improve gross margin. One is to be a thug. Be a thug, as in gouge the customer, charge them more money, or squeeze the vendors. That will improve your gross margin, but temporarily. Second way to improve gross margin is to become a brain, add more intellectual value. Those of you who are in the logistics business would relate when I say that the trucking business is very low gross margin. If you want to improve the gross margin in a trucking business, you elevate yourself from a trucking business to a logistics business where you're adding more intellectual value in terms of the operations of what is being moved, when it is being moved, how much is stored, what is the inventory, all of which adds intellectual value. In your business, you must be very cognizant and pay attention to your gross profit and your gross margin. Improving gross margin is not easy. It is very difficult. Gross margin is your customer's verdict of the intellectual value you provide. And hence, I claim, gross margin equals intellectual value.